Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining ATI Pro Media. We're powered by Advanced Trading. Think we had some in-studio guests yesterday. I think we had a bunch of people over at corporate. Hope they got to watch the show. Hope they had a great day visiting the Bloomington office. Well, not the quote board I was hoping for today, but as we know, hope is not a marketing plan. But I do have good news for you. A friend of mine on the internet, he made a shirt. You can buy it now. I'll send you a link. It's a beautiful shirt and it says store and ignore. Kind of makes you giggle and cry all in one shirt. But it has happened. It is happening. The old crop is hitting the market at 4-year lows. We had that USDA report Monday. It's not what happens at 11 o'clock on Monday. It's where do we close on Monday? Where do we close the week? The week is ending. Markets are on the lows. Let's take LaSalle Street. We'll bring the little free for all. Brady and Connor are going to chat amongst themselves. I'm going to add a little color in the background. D's corn down 6.5, 390 last. No beans down 10, 958.5. Meal down 23, oil down 47, wheat down 2. That actually almost feels like it's up. I'm long some wheat personally. That feels good only being down 2.5 cents versus the other stuff. KC down 3 3/4. Minneapolis hard red spring down 2. Was terribly disappointed in how wheat acted the last hour of yesterday. And I think I might have found the culprit, and I think you all know her name. Live cattle down 27. I'm looking at Augie. I should probably update those to Ock. Brady will give a little color on that in a little bit. Feeder cattle down 140. Hogs, I got to look at that because August expired. Let's update that hog board. We're going to move to Dees. Dees down 25. Let's take it to that great street, Wall Street, and see what's going on over there as we look at the markets. I got gold up 35. Hello, ring the bell. I think we got all-time highs in gold. Gold up 35, 25, 2,527. I can't even say that big number. Silver, I might need I don't know why, but silver had a good day yesterday, but silver's down 7 cents. That I find that odd when you look at that gold silver ratio. If you're interested in that, just Google gold silver ratio. It used to be 50 to 1. It's probably changed a lot. I can't do the math in my head, but what we're trying to find, and maybe Joe's super smart, take the price of gold, 25.26, divide it by the price of silver, 28.38, and you're probably looking at a 80 to 1, 90 to 1. Who's super smart out there and going to do the math? All right. 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, 30-year, all those markets are up. That means yields are down. Crude oil down $1.25. It was down $2 this morning. Natural gas backing off. Not a surprise. Our own Nick Kerr gave a weather update. The temperatures are going to be mild into the end of August, less natural gas used for those power plants. And with that, we'll go over to Wall Street. We had a housing starts number today, and we could talk about that a little bit. I don't think we had as many housing starts or housing permits as they were thinking. Also, note big changes in real estate laws. I'm not smart enough to talk about them, but Google it. Something huge happened in real estate. If you just Google new laws in real estate, we could talk about that. It's not really, I could care less, but if you're a real estate agent, it's like really big deal. Okay, Dow Jones unchanged, NASDAQ down 40, S&P down 1, Bitcoin up 1,459,000. Dr. Copper down 3. Let's bring those two guys in. Connor B, Brady Huck. I'll duck out. I could hide. There we go. Look at you two. Can you still hear me?
We got you, Tommy.
Oh,
We
this
can
is
always,
like this
you
is
could
like
probably turn your mic off and we could still hear you. You're
oh
not
my
that far
God.
away.
Oh my God. Oh, insults are flying. This is like live stream torture. Like you could hear me, but you can't see me. Boys, add some color to the show. Let's break down the headlines. Happy Friday.
It's your conscience, Tommy Grisafi speaking.
Break it down, you two jokers.
All right. Well,
Brady
happy
going
Friday.
full hat backwards on Friday. That's why I said bring that cowboy in the show. He said I didn't have time to shave. I said you never shave. Come on, you're going live.
It's that type of Friday for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right into it. Tommy quoted us up, and we can see we're testing new lows. Might be at new lows. Correct me if I'm wrong. 390.5 on D's corn. Is that the low, Brady?
Yeah, that's where I think we've traded 390.25 here. So tagged that low from a couple days ago. Double bottom. We can hope, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It's been a double bottom for about 3 months, it seems like.
Well, headlines we've seen, right? We can almost do a segment on just updating on ag companies and how they're performing in this, right? Looking at their stocks and missing earnings. But we've kind of got to win Bayer, right? I don't know if Bayer counts as an ag company. They're a little bit bigger than that. But we're seeing their shares rise pretty significantly on the backs of a win in the courts with this Roundup claim. So it's interesting. It's been one. My gosh, how long have we been debating this? And it's been in court for feels like a long time. But we're seeing them win, right? They had a win in that. It was in Philadelphia, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
A big one, right? We'll see where that goes. See if we can keep spraying Roundup. But we're seeing that stock rally.
Yeah, well, Roundup is a good adjuvant to have out there. I joke because it seems like more of an adjuvant than an active ingredient. It doesn't do much on weeds anymore. There's so much resistance against it, but I think I still put it in the tank as an adjuvant. But.
Right. I got to tell you, yesterday I did a meeting for Pioneer Seed, just
Yeah.
in a guy's shed, had about 30, 40 people in the room. And so interesting, right? Interesting how the dynamics change there, right? When we start talking, he had a non-GMO guy speak where I feel like 2 years ago, I don't think we would have heard from non-GMO corn, non-GMO soybeans. But given this price environment, right, I think it was a good idea because we got to look at different avenues to add cents per bushel to our bottom line. Interesting to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. That is, yeah.
So, other thing we got, right? This is a headline for next week. Pro Farmer Tour is getting kicked off, and so we always debate, right? They're always fun to see, always fun to debate. Pro Farmer is the main one. You're probably seeing localized crop tours, right? We had one. A coworker sent it to us yesterday, and I opened it up right in my backyard, and my first thought was, "No way, we're that low."
Yeah.
And so interesting to see, right? They held it where Central Illinois was only basically just a few bushel better than last year.
Really?
I say no way, right? They use a certain they're using the same factors every year, and so that's going to be the variability in these crop tours, right? We can count kernels, we can count ears, and so but look what I'm doing right now. I'm debating them. They're fun to talk about, right? In terms of being a market mover with the Pro Farmer Crop Tour, usually we don't see the market get too excited just based on those crop tour numbers, but we'll be paying attention to it definitely.
Yeah. We'll get ready for the Twittersphere to blow up and have, picks of the biggest years out there. And it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see, as they get into some of the flooded areas, acreage,
Yes.
lost holes, pockets out there, some of that type of stuff. But gosh, confirmation of a good crop in a lot of places I anticipate here. Maybe there's some pockets of surprise, the Ohio area that we hear about from Buckeye Farm or be interesting to see what they find out there next week. Get the boots on the ground, checking out what's out there.
Right. And then, I mean, the talk here is, can we really see a 225 overall yield in Illinois, right? We're talking big yields, but man, that's a big crop for the whole state to average 225. So we'll be able to debate that next week, see what they come in for Illinois, Kansas, right? All the states. So we'll be paying attention to that.
Real quick color, guys, if you could hear me, is that
loud and clear.
The potential to finish up is amazing. I mean, I woke up last night at 2, 3 o'clock, the thunderstorms, and it was like someone was playing the drums on my house. And we did that premium already with Mick Care. And he said I had like 1.5 inches. And you talk about 1.5 inches rain on the 15th, 16th of August. And now it's nice out. I mean, it feels like Florida down here. It's sunny already. There's tons of moisture. We have enough to fill up this crop. I'm not an agronomist, but I do have some common sense. I think I don't think you guys saw it, but Nathan Mangold sent me a chart on making a bean crop August 1st, 24th, and 16th. Anyway, I'll forward this to y'all. We could probably pop it up if we wanted to. It's okay. You just got to know it's raining everywhere, and there's some really great things happening here. It's just so good for the bushels. Now, clients in North Dakota called yesterday and put on more puts without me calling them. Hey, we just had 2 inches. We are set up for a monster bean crop. They think there's a chance they won't finish up well in corn because they're behind on GDUs and they could have a very wet corn crop. That's a different story. But the way that bean plant, the history of the life of a bean, beginning, middle, and end, you have the first day of summer solstice on 21st, and then that mechanism changes. So that bean plant does a lot better job of when it says it's done, it's done. You could see it. It just starts to change colors, drops leaves, and next thing you know, the combines are out there. Corn can linger a little bit more, in my opinion. Would you agree with that, Brady, from what you know in agronomy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's beans are what daylight sensitive type crops, so they love planting them early, getting the more heat units, the more GDUs you can, because at a certain point in time when the day length gets to a certain level, that bean switches to reproductive mode. It's not growing anymore. It's filling what it's got, and it's on the clock. So
Are we allowed to say that on this show?
what beans?
Reproductive mode.
Reproductive mode.
Only you were thinking that way, Tommy.
Straight-
To me, right? To put it in simple terms, it's like corn always needs its handheld throughout the year, right? Farm Doc U of I does a great job of putting like the most important things that determine yield in corn. And so, number one, big surprise, it's going to be July weather, July rain, and then it's like July temperatures, planting date, right? Where soybeans, my gosh, we can throw a lot at soybeans throughout the summer. If we catch some good temperatures, good rains in August, we can still have good beans.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, August growing weather to the end of the season, like we've got here. If you get a couple rains like that, that's real. That to me, that's the recipe to have that big bumper. Add that extra 10% on top of the national yield if you get a good finish to the growing season, like some areas are seeing right now.
Tommy, I got a question for you for
Yes,
North Dakota guys. Is the concern, I know it's too early, but it's just where my mind went, right? We're not getting the GDUs, right? A little bit cooler temps, a little bit later planted dates for some of North Dakota. Is there any concern for having some early frosts up there? What's the
huge concern. We actually had a little part of western North Dakota had a frost a week ago.
Oh, wow.
And upper Minnesota hit like 33, 32 just a week ago. So it lightly happened. That's not enough to rock the house, but yeah, extremely worried. Now they want to go. My farmers who have a lot on the table worried about there said we need every bit of the whole month of September, and we hope we make it to October. And so it's not uncommon to frost at the end of August or September, but we're hoping for a warmer pattern to kick in. And obviously, when you say hope in markets, that's bad. When you say hope in weather, you're talking to God and Mother Nature. So, you could say that. I don't like the word hope in marketing. But as far as farming, yeah, they are definitely hoping that Mother Nature holds out. Now, typically, we've seen some phenomenal Indian summers up in North Dakota in the upper Midwest. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And that would be when we get one of those January crop reports. I remember a January crop report several years ago, and the North Dakota corn yield came in like it was a lot, like 7 or 12 bushels better than expected on the USDA. And corn, it might have been this August one, and the market went down hard. And the only state that had much better yield was North Dakota. But you take 4 million acres times way better yield, that's going to add to that balance sheet, and that could get you up. So, sure, the balance sheet looks a little tighter in corn, but if the whole country finishes well, we're going right back to 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 carryout, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah,
fully agree.
And building off of that a little bit, Tommy. You have a 2-1, 2-2 type carryout for this year. What does that set the tone for in 25? That to me, that's the scariest thing looking forward. But I don't want to add to the fear mongering.
Well, it's you don't have to apologize for telling the truth. Break down cattle a little bit, and I want to talk about this pep rally. That this whole debacle. We got a question. What do you see in the cattle market? Well,
Look
there
at
we
that.
go.
Perfect segue. Thank you, Cody. Go ahead, Brady.
Yeah. So the cutout was a little higher yesterday. That was good to see. I'm still waiting on cash trade here this week. Got a cattle on feed report next week. That'll be, eyes will be watching that and some pre-report type positioning. The feeder cattle index has stabilized a little bit. That's good to see. I think that the data coming in from Wednesday raised the feeder cattle index $1. So we're at 246.34 on the feeder cattle index. August futures are 244.67. But you go out to October feeder cattle futures and they're 238. So the funds and the market still pricing in a discount or a lower index out there into the fall as we get deeper into the fall run. Concerns about the fat board. If we have October and December fats stay where they're at, the cattle coming out if they come out at 180 in October and December, those cattle are going to be losing a lot of money. And if you look to refill those pins, how putting those dollars back to work, you may not be as willing to pay as much for what you're filling those pins with. But Yeah, not a great close yesterday and not very good follow through on the price action with feeders, in my opinion, today. Chris, if you're out there watching, Joe and I were talking about you this morning. LRP contracts that guys have. We touched on this a little bit yesterday, guys. I've been doing, want to be optimistic where the market can go, but those products that you have a tremendous amount of equity in them, and it's worth going out there and looking at what you can do to protect that value. It's also worth looking at, the next calf crop that's going to be born in the spring. What can we go do to go out there and get some floors established? What bad looks like to me here, you get recency bias of 250, 260. That's a good price. And here we are at 230, 240 on the board. What we don't want to see is the market go to $2. You get that recency bias, a number stuck in your head of what's a good number. Is it 450 corn? Is it $5 corn? Is it 250 feeders? And it's still great prices to protect. Don't get hung up on the next $10, $20 above the market. Protect the $50 to $100 below the market.
Yeah,
that's kind of my.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to ask this, but I'm going to anyway.
Oh no.
I'm seeing a lot of we haven't talked about it, and for good reason, because we don't want to fear monger. But I feel like we need to touch on. I see so many headlines about bird flu in cattle, about how it's underreported. Right? Is it the same story? Has your opinion from 3 weeks ago to now, or is it still kind of just it's a headline and they're putting it out there?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. It was a topic of our livestock call this week, Connor. We talked about it a little bit because there's an outlier with Colorado and the the positive what do I want to say? They're getting some more cases in Colorado in their dairy herds, their HPAI. It's kind of an outlier across the nation, and it makes you wonder, why is Colorado seeing increased numbers of HPAI where we've kind of seen a slowdown in, Michigan, Texas, some of those other dairy intense states, but Colorado's numbers are popping up there. Is it the way they're testing? Is it the concentration of the herds? Bottom line, beef products safe. It's not, a terminal type deal with cattle. It's more, production type deal. We don't want to see it, but I guess that'd be my comments on that. But we're seeing some increased numbers of it in Colorado, though, Connor.
Yeah. It's a very popular headline to pop up, right? I swear I jump on Reuters and it's every other one when you're looking at ag markets. But I guess one we got to pay attention to, but maybe not. We're not going to talk about it every day, but
yeah, I guess when the Camelot or the Trump headlines start drying up, then you go back to bird flu. Maybe I don't know what the recipe or the playbook is on mainstream legacy media.
Yeah. Ashley, what we got? North Dakota person here. We've already had a frost, corn finishing, hitting black layer, going to be issue, and is already a conversation we're having. Sure. Yep. Reiterating what Tommy said, that there already was a frost, and that's probably right. The weather has been very productive, right, for the corn growing season. So that's where my head goes, is what could derail this, right? What's going to be the hiccup? And so, sure, that's going to be a concern. Hopefully we get some heat. We can get this corn finished. 2019 corn problems still have guys worried. Wet kernels, low test weight, blue mold issues, etc. Sure, it's hard. We weren't quite as late this year as we were in 2019. But it's still a concern, right? And especially in a low price environment, I start thinking of, if this grain doesn't dry down, we're delivering it to town. Man, it hurts those, those drying costs add up, right? We could debate those, if it's worth paying them or worth letting the corn dry down, right? That's a hot topic, the whole phantom yield loss. But yeah.
There's so much production stuff we got to worry about as a farmer. Farmers got to wear a lot of different hats, and taking care of the crop, the quality of the crop, and some of those concerns about that quality going forward. It makes it hard to wear both hats at the same time, your marketing hat and your production hat, taking care of those bushels.
Absolutely.
It's nice to have one of them under control as you get through, and you can focus on trying to do your best on both of them.
Yeah. Hey, keep the questions coming. I'm looking to start dairy farming in Indiana. Congrats. How much longer will land values continue being strong with low markets? Dylan, great question. We have premium. We have the land talker on. Tommy, I think you have him on probably twice a month, maybe even more.
Once a month, yeah.
Once a month, okay.
First week of the month, yeah, boom. But you guys are free to call him. Get a hold of Land Talker. He's got a great thing. Our clients who are wealthy are still extremely wealthy. They didn't just take the wealth from them because corn dropped $1. Hey, let's talk about the real thing that rocked the market yesterday. Um, this is who wants to go first? Connor.
Not it.
All right, I'll read that. Camilla Harris to propose ban on price gouging for food/groceries. Sounds great. It's as simple as that. That's all we're going to do, right? Ban it and we can walk away and nothing else will happen.
Yeah, that's
Out
not
there to
that
solve your
angle. The
problems.
picture they took isn't very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, what cameraman took that one? What do you say? So yesterday the markets were up, and I was like, markets are acting pretty good. They were up good overnight. They had a nice tone to them. Sorry about the pop-ups and ads, but there's not a chance in heck I'm paying for the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, full disclosure. It's interesting how the wealthy people of the world buy the media, then control the media. But they've written several articles. The one headline said, hard to call your it's odd to call you how's it go? It's odd to call your opponent a communist and then mandate low food prices, right? And so we believe we're part of the free markets. I own a seat at the board. I'm proud of that. And I'll tell you a story. Last Saturday, I was in Nashville, and my friend Chris Swift from Swift Commodities took me out to lunch. We went and had catfish along the river. That's a little too much detail anyway. I was kind of excited for another guy to ask me out on a date. So we went and had catfish along the river, and he said to me while we're having our third iced tea, he said, I think Kamala might disrupt the free markets. And I told him that, Chris, you're crazy. You can stop with the conspiracies. He was right. I mean, look at this headline. Kamala Harris proposed ban on price gouging. From the time these articles started coming out yesterday, it didn't stop. We went seller, seller, seller. Now, granted, there's some nice weather out there too. Then we sold it last night. We're selling it today. Remember who is president and vice president while we have these prices. I've been telling you since ATI Pro Media started, there is a huge agenda to get inflation down in all things coming into the election. The United States government may be able to control food prices, probably won't. It's a headline, but gold is hitting record highs. That shows me that the rest of the world is buying that uncertainty and that they look for chaos and they want a true commodity like gold, something, as Dennis Gartman would say, you can drop on your feet. That doesn't spoil. We've said over and over and over, there's such a motivation to get energies down and food down so they could say, we did that. This is a we did that. This appeals to the 99% of Americans. And so when we tell you, hey, folks out there in ag, get out there and go represent yourself, it's against this type of rhetoric. It's noise. I don't think it'll happen. But for me to insult my friend Chris on Saturday and say that'll never happen and see a headline like this, we're a little bit closer. The stock market and the betting markets think this is your next president. I'm not so sure. Back to you.
Where do we go
Scared?
from there?
You guys scared?
Where
do
do
you
we
go?
go from there? Yeah, I think you're. Time will tell. Right. Interesting. To me, it's.
Let me ask you a question. I'll ask questions. It's easier when somebody asks a question. Is this bullish or bearish ag?
I'm very nervous for the future of ag in either scenario, right?
Feeders are down 300, new low. Look at this headline. Yeah. No kidding. If you're a hedge fund manager in New York and you're looking at this going, oh my God, the consumer's tired of paying higher prices. The farmers caught long. They know their exact position. We're going to have, what do you call it today after the close? We're going to have where they commitment of traders. Yes. You're going to see the funds covered more, and we're still at contract lows. That means the farmer is puking into the funds' hands. Mark my words, I believe the funds covered more this week, aka that pop on Monday and a little price action there. Could be wrong. Anyway, questions, comments, drop them.
So how'd we get here, right, Tommy? I mean, rewind the clock a couple years ago and the inflation trade was full on, and the inflation trade, kind of what you're saying is the inflation trade's over.
It's over. Yeah. Done. Hey, real quick, let's talk about premium because this ties into it. Luke, we'll get to you in 1 second here on that question. Please stand by. Yesterday's premium was a two-part series with Wednesday with Tom Berry and then Thursday with Tom Berry. But one of the things we talked about in premium content with Tom Berry out of New Buffalo, Michigan, was that when Tom Berry started, he said, I don't know if I can do this. The farmers I'm going to visit and you're having me call on are laughing at me. We have 750 corn and they're literally like, why do I need you? I said, Tom, give them your card, get your contact information, ask them if they want some text or information. These people will be tripping over your door to get signed up in a few years. He said, you seem so confident in that. I go, I've been in this business a long time. In ag, we go up too high, we go down way lower. And so the joy and excitement of running to the boat dealership and outbidding your neighbor to make sure you had a pontoon boat 2-3 years ago is over. They're out there. Campers, boats, toys, this, that, farm equipment. Look at Facebook Marketplace. Sure, John Deere had better earnings. It came at laying off 2,500 people, right? It's happening. It's going to continue to happen. The calls and texts I'm getting is this a short-term thing, or is it going to be like this for the next few years? I want you all to pencil out there how many years you can go with breaking even or losing $100 an acre before you are financially in trouble. Those are the numbers you have to worry about, and that's your starting point. It's bad now. It can get worse. I know we lose viewers and premium subscribers because I tell you the truth, but I haven't been wrong, guys.
Yep. That's a mic drop right there.
I got a question. I'm now all I'm thinking about is this price gouging. Let's go back to, let's pretend that headline is implemented however you guys want to pretend it is. And when in 2022 wheat went to $10 because we had Russia invaded Ukraine. We weren't sure on the supply, right? U.S. balance sheet wasn't that great. Is that price gouging? And suddenly do they say, no, stop trading, stop that wheat at $7, $8, right? How's that work?
Why is she not giving a speech on how fertilizer companies need to lower their price?
Yeah, exactly. But well, you want to pop Luke's question up?
Yeah.
Too many middlemen taking their own cut is why groceries are high. Stock market, I guess it's a statement. Stock market demands growth at any cost, so everyone has to keep shareholders happy with eternal growth.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have that headline up. It's I can't pull it up because I don't pay for this paper, but it says when your opponent calls you a communist, manipulating price controls isn't the way you should go. On a positive note, my wheat's up on the day. So, hey, everyone out there, full disclosure, I became a farmer this morning. I am long corn with you. We're in this together. I'm in it at a much better level than you are, and I won't have to harvest it or pay for stuff to dry. Questions, comments, either. We want to help you, and you're going to need help. So we can help you in so many ways. If you're a patriot, we can send you a flag. If you need rain, which I don't think you do, we can send you a rain gauge. I think this is the map our friend at work sent us. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Rick popped this up. He's amazing. Look at these. Are these rain totals? This is amazing.
Is this through, okay, walk me through this, Tommy, through the
August 1st through the 16th. I think Nathan Mangold sent this to me, and this is just all the moisture out there. And look at that pocket of blue of 7.24. That's a little too much. But boy, when it rains, it pours. Yeah, just good moisture everywhere. This is not bullish. But I have seen where markets get so bearish, they become incredibly bullish. The pain trade's happening. It stinks, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. If you guys want a rain gauge, we sent out about 10 packages of rain gauges. If you want a rain gauge, nice. We got them here. I don't know if you need a rain, but we'll send you a couple of rain gauges, send you a little information on ATI Pro Media Premium. And let's pop up that third screen, or all three of our little heads again. And we can send you a flag. We want you to subscribe to Premium. We're putting out good content. We're going to have another show here this afternoon. Boys are getting a coffee break, but tough times, tough conversations. A lot of people are calling. They're not accounts, and they're asking for real advice. And I'm like, you have to do paperwork. You have to believe in it. You know, if you believe in us, you got to fill out the paperwork. And really what they're saying is, I like you. I like your show. I just want to be told what to do. And, you know, it's, I haven't reached that level of my life where I'm working pro bono because I have that much money, right?
Here, you want some free advice? You mentioned it, Tommy, when you said when prices go low, right, and then suddenly we see a bearish or bullish pop, right? Maybe we didn't necessarily need one. That'd be my advice: is when we see these low prices, be very wary of those contracts that give you a little premium, right? Oh, if you commit some bushels at this price for 2025, we'll give you a premium on 2024. Right. I talked about volatility in the commodity markets yesterday, and that's what we got to see. Right. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul. Right. Be consistent in the marketing plan and be very wary of those double up type contracts or anything like that. I've seen them go sideways, and I see them gain traction when we see these low prices. So that's my free advice for Friday.
Free Advice Friday. Brady Huck, Dodge City, Kansas. Tom Grisafi, Valparaiso, Indiana. Connor B, Assumption, Illinois. We got big crops, folks. Need to stay disciplined, stay protected. If you need something, give us a call, email. Did we miss any questions, Mr. Rick or Joe? Check that question line. Of course, after the show, you're free to call us, email us, and we will get out of here. Something crazy happens over the weekend. We'll go live on Sunday. Probably not. Wouldn't be surprised to see these markets turn around a little bit here today into the close. Interested to let you know, premium subscribers, this afternoon when we get that commitment of traders, we'll put that out. And there's lots of interesting things happening in media in ways we're getting information. Got to give a big shout out to our new friends over at GrainStats. Always been free on Twitter, but they got a little premium service that we all subscribe to, and we like quality stuff. Suggest you do it. We're not against anyone or anybody out there who's trying to educate the farmer. We'll always tell you where to go for great news and information, even if it's not us. We can't do it all, but we can do this. Everyone have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.
See you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.